Being a distance learner is a wonderful option, especially if you've got work or family commitments and so on. But it is different to being a university student in a physical university campus. So here are my top tips of how to be a distance learner student and succeed at university. So the first thing that I would recommend is that you find out how it all works. What you need to know is, how do you access the materials? Is there a website that you need to log on to, or other sort of software? What are your dates and times? Are there specific times that you need to log on and attend an event virtually, or can you do it all at your own pace? What are the dates that you need to submit your work by, and so on? You also need to find out how you actually submit your work. If you're doing that from home, is there a particular way online or particular software that you need to use? You also need to find out who your contact points are. Who are your tutors or your lecturers or the support systems? Who are they and how do you access them? So that's your first step. The second one is working out how you're actually going to do your studies, especially if you're trying to fit it in around family life or work life or whatever else you've got going on. So I would recommend that you sit down and you have a look at what your weekly commitments are and try and figure out when you can fit your study in around that. You don't have to do it exactly the same day and time every single week, but it can be really useful to set up some sort of structure, some sort of schedule, so that it doesn't all mount up and you find you've got a lot to do because you haven't done any for quite some time. I would also recommend that you try and create some kind of study space at home. You might not have the luxury of having a study or a specific desk or whatever it might be. But if you can dedicate a small little area where you're going to do your studies, that can be really useful because you can make sure you've got all the equipment ready, that you've got your power sources, your notebooks, whatever it is you need. And also it just mentally shows you that you're in your study space. If you can make it quiet and free of distractions, then that's ideal. But I know that doesn't always work with everyday life. Something else that you might want to consider is what support networks you've got around you. So who's going to help you when you've got a deadline, if you're going to need help, so looking after the children or whatever it might be. Do also sort of think about whether there's any software or equipment you need to help you with your studies, so that before you start, you know you've got your laptop or whatever device you need, and then it's got things like the software you need to write your assignments. Quite often universities can provide the software and things, so check that out before you go and buy lots of expensive software. Something else that I would really recommend is thinking about how you are going to stay motivated when you study. Distance learning, like I said before, is great because you can do it at your own pace, at home, fits in with lots of different things going on in life. But sometimes it can feel a little bit isolating. So I would recommend that you think about how you're going to deal with that and stay motivated. So it might be that you have something on your desk space that keeps you motivated. Maybe the end goal that you've got is there on a post-it note. Maybe you reward yourself with a nice coffee, a piece of cake, or a nice chat with a friend after you've done a certain block of study. It might also be that you can connect with other students that are also on your course. Just because you're distance learning doesn't mean that you don't have a tutor group or a network of peers that you could connect with. So it might be that you can join a tutor group forum. It might be that there is some other social media outlet or whatever it is that your university provide to allow you to build that student community. It can be really useful because you can share ideas with each other, you can ask each other questions, discuss what you are doing, and just generally have a bit of a community and a bit of support. You might just want to rant about how difficult you're finding it, or you may just want to chat with somebody about nothing in particular, but just somebody else that you know is going through what you are going through. You may also find it helpful to think about whether there are different things you can do through a student union or the other options that universities provide. Just because you're a distance learner student doesn't mean that you are isolated from all of those other experiences that you can get with being at university. So summarising that all up, then I would recommend that you make sure you know how it works, so that from day one you know how to access, when you need to access it, what you need to do, and so on. My second tip is that you make sure that you have a study time and space. That might look like lots of different things and be flexible, but try and set yourself something up. And my third one is to think about how you're going to connect and stay motivated when you're studying. So look at how you can connect with other students and what sort of rewards and motivations you can give yourself. I hope you found that useful. Don't forget to add your suggestions on how to be a successful distance learner in the comments.